Hi and welcome to another episode of the Career Stories podcast. My name's Joe.
And I'm Carrie.
We are both careers advisors for Skills Development Scotland, and this podcast is all about bringing stories of career professionals and find out a bit about their journey, how they got into the job they're doing, what they're actually currently doing now, and any kind of future ambitions that they've got for themselves.
And today we've got the very lovely Craig Black, who's a visual artist. So that's specialising in a paint technique called acrylic fusion. So we're not sure if you discovered this technique or if you made it yourself, sort of thing. So we're going to kind of delve beneath the surface here today, because we have a lot of people in school who love art, who it's a big part of their subjects within school, but it's also a big part of like what they enjoy doing outside of school. And then it can feel like a lot of people maybe feel like, where can I go with this? So it's really fantastic to have you on today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yay.
I know, and it's one of those for you. I mean, you've had quite a lot of success with that, shall we say, with the fact that it's taken you kind of a bit all over the world, working with big companies like Disney and Porsche and NBA and stuff like that. So like, it's amazing to hear the success of where a subject like art, where we talked about, can be, it can hit a stigma where is this a sustainable career? Is this something you can do? So where we like to always start is kind of the beginning, right? So like right back to your school days,
right.
You know, was it something that you always thought was going to be in your future, or did you have a total different plan when you were younger?
So growing up, football was the main thing, right? I'm not going to lie. That was the be-all and end-all at the very beginning. But subconsciously, I think art played a part into that. And to let you a bit of insight is, I always remember younger. So I've got an older brother, Gary, who's 6 years older than me. So me and him used to go across the park, all our friends play football. And then Mum would shout from the window, "Dinner's ready." So we'd run back over, have dinner. But after dinner, it was too late to go back out. So Mum's like, right, what are we going to do? But what I found myself doing was get my paper and pens out, and I would draw football boots and football badges and everything football related, but drawing and colouring them in. And I ended up making my own kits and all stuff like that. But not at any point did I think I was just like art. It's just me just like letting out my football enthusiasm go. And as the years went on, getting even into primary school as well, football and sport was a big thing, but I was always passionate about art, and I just found myself at one with it at a very early age, and I was really engrossed. My mum was played a big part into that as well. Like, she would really encourage me in anything that I did in life. She was absolutely amazing. But I would say art and football kind of intertwined in a way that I didn't really know at the early stages. And I remember as years went on, so primary school, again, football, but it's making kits and stuff and drawing and painting. But no one really knew about that. I thought it was just a thing for me. And then when I got to high school, right, and again, I had this dreams and aspiration of becoming a professional football player, and I did. I played for Greenock-based, which is not the highest level or anything like that, but it was still professional football.
Exactly.
And it was a local team, and I was a local boy coming through, so there was a lot of kind of excitement around that. At school, I remember being at school at the time, and a lot of people go, "Well, Craig's going to go and play football, so he's sorted." Do you know what I mean? In a way. And I was good in school. Do you know what I mean? In terms of grades and stuff. Standard. Like, I wasn't like the brainiest, but I wasn't anyway. But I remember art was always something that I gravitated towards throughout, from first year right until sixth year. But the turning point, I would say, in my life really came in sixth year. So to give you the story, was at sixth year, I was about, 15, 16 at the time, I think it was. And Greenock offered me a full-time professional contract to leave school and go play football. And at first I was like, yes, I'm all in. But then there was something in the back of my head going, I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Now, fortunately, I had a most wonderful art teacher. His name's Mr. Murray. I should call him Paul Murray. But I find that even to this day, I find it very odd to call him Paul. He's a brilliant man. I still in contact with him now. Still tells me off. But he noticed, I get emotional every time I tell this story, right? He noticed something in me before I knew it, right? And so did my mum. And so what happened was, Craig, I think, and what they both said to me in separate situations was, go play football. We don't want to stop you doing that, but I think you should continue doing your 6 year at school, right? back then you didn't have that kind of collaboration. So I remember my mum, Paul Murray, and the headmaster went to Greenock-Morton and says, listen, we want Craig to come and play with you. However, he needs to come and do advanced higher art at school. Because one, he's really good at it, and it's something he wants to do as well. And I did want to do it. But obviously the draw of playing football was there.
Yes.
So at that time, nothing like that was... I don't even think it was done in Scotland at all. I don't think anyone was doing it. So what happened was I would go train in the morning with the first team, and then in the afternoon I would have to go back to school to do advanced higher art. But the thing was, Mr. Murray, Paul Murray, bear with me here, he had this massive classroom that was split into two. So he, if you can imagine, like, throughout his day, I think it was on like every afternoon, he would have his own curriculum, own class and stuff, and he would literally have 5 minutes with me. So he would come over, and the relationship we had was so strong that it could be such direct feedback. And he says, like, Craig, why are you doing it this way? And I would push back, going, well, this is why I'm doing this. And he knew how to push my buttons the right way to get the right result, or push me further than I ever thought I could possibly do. At the time, I was like, oh, he's doing my head in. But the reality was, he was pushing me further. But there was something until then, knowing that was the right thing to do. So I remember I left, completed that full year, got my advanced higher art, and I think I got a C. The writing part done me.
There's a lot of writing in advanced higher art.
There was a lot of writing, and I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. But the art bit I was good at. Do you know what I mean? I was doing that, so I think that's where I fell down. But I remember graduating from that, and then it was like, right, I'm going into full-time football. And I did it for 5 years at Greenock-Morton, and I thought, this is it. This is what I want to be. But as the time went on playing football, it became very frustrating because no matter how well I played, how well I did a training, the opportunities weren't coming. And it just got to a point where it was actually soul-destroying because I wasn't able to go out on loan and play for other teams and stuff, and I couldn't do anything at all. So I was stuck in this place where I wasn't quite good enough to play in the first team, and then I was sitting in the stand, and this happened year after year after year. And the frustrating was there was other teams, bigger teams, wanting to take me away and go play with them, but Morton wouldn't let me go, and it was just an endless cycle. And with that, my passion, my enthusiasm for football was waning, and I started to not enjoy the game at all. Even when I did get chances, it just didn't give me that fulfillment. And there was a large part of the time when I was playing football, I was like, why is this not making me happy? And I thought, because I was a young boy and I was over in that park, that was when I was happiest. And it was that freedom of playing. But I think, I don't know, whatever happened over those years, I just wasn't enjoying it. And it came to the 5th year, and Morton actually went, like, we want to offer you another contract. And I'm like, why? Like, in a way, I'm like, let me go. But so the funny thing was, Morton offered me a contract. I had other teams wanting to take me as well, but I had zero interest. It was like, I had to break free because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all, which is very strange because I decided to leave the game altogether. And everybody, my family members are going, what are you doing? Because it's not common for someone to just walk away from something where you love, and most people would bite your hand off for that opportunity, and I agree with that. But I was like, I need to find something that makes me happy and puts a smile on my face. So see, that day, must have been about, what was it, 20, 21 maybe. And first place I went to was a pub, right? So I went to the pub, and the first person I met, as soon as I walked in the door, was Mr. Murray, right? And I'm like, oh my God. So he comes up, and I've not seen him in 5 years. So the last time I seen him was when I graduated, and that was it. And I walk in, he asks, what's happening in your life? So I've offloaded, told him everything. And he said these wise words to me. He says, Craig, you were crap at football anyway. Why don't you go study art and design? Something like graphic design, or even you doing your art. And it was like a light bulb moment. I was like, oh that's something, right? But I said to him, I was like, I don't even have my portfolio from years ago. I've done nothing for 5 years. Like, how am I expected to get in a course or anything at all? So he says to me, come to my house tomorrow. I've got something to show you. So next day comes, I've got a terrible hangover. I walk to his house. So I'm going, why the hell am I going here? So knock on the door. He's like, Craig, come in. And he walks out in his living room, and he's got my portfolio from 5 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Now I'm a very emotional person, right? And I'm trying to hold back the tears now, but that meant everything to me. I broke down in tears and I'm choking up now. And all those feelings in his classroom, painting and the expression of art just came back, and it felt like me. It felt like me inside. And that was a turning point in my life.
Amazing.
And from that moment, getting that portfolio, I quickly went into a graphic design course in Glasgow. And then it all snowballed from there into creativity. So if it wasn't for that pivotal moment of that art teacher all those years ago making an imprint on me, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today.
Wow.
I think that's so important, because we think about all these, we've got these amazing teachers who are out there, and that can make all the difference. You can having someone who believes in you, and it's different, you know, you've got people at home who believe in you, you've got your friends who think really well of you and things like that, but a teacher, they don't have to do that. Like, they obviously they want to make you do well, and they want you to pass your course and things like that. They don't have to do what he did there.
Exactly.
And actually, these are the teachers that can make all, like you say, it was a pivotal moment in your life. And this is the responsibilities that teachers have, is that they can change somebody's life. And then, you know, that difference, if you'd had a teacher who hadn't believed in you so strongly that they went to a football club and said, look, we know you want them professionally, but you can have them, but on these conditions, like that's amazing. And that's like, that's such a, but like, where would your life be if that teacher hadn't been there?
I know. I always think about that, and I always try and instill the same things that he taught me to the way that I've got a young daughter now and another one on the way, in any school child. I mean, anyone who I meet, any walks of life, but as an adult, like the same things, and because you never know the impact you can have in someone's life, and then you can easily inspire someone to go and change their life, and it could be a simple one word, conversation, a piece of art, you never know. So it was like a big moment for me.
It's such a movie-esque type story.
Oh yeah,
isn't
totally.
It?
Like when should we buy the rights?
Absolutely.
I know.
Obviously, we need to, the team needs to be bigger than Greenock, right?
I know,
Like, you know, we need to Manchester United and just Greenock. No, but it's a great story, and obviously, like that. You know, that was the turning point for you. So then you go from that to deciding, right, did you go back into education then, go and get art? So talk about that, and then obviously from that to where you are now.
Absolutely. So I was 21 when I went back into education, which was an interesting period because I was all in. Do you know what I mean? I remember I didn't know what he's like, go do graphic design. I'm like, what's graphic design? What is that? What's even art? What's all this stuff? So I think it was within the week, he managed to contact, it was Cardonal College, which is now a different name.
Glasgow Clyde
College. And he got me an interview into there, and I remember going in and walking and seeing all the designs and art on the wall, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Didn't know what it was, but I was just excited by the creativity. And I think if something like talks to you like that, it's like something's taking me to the right place. And I remember going in and doing the interview, and it was a guy, Kenny, who was one of the head lecturers, and he was a wonderful character who helped me out massively. And I showed him like 2 pieces of work, and he's like, right, you're in. And I was like, oh, great. And I was like, it says it's not about the work, it's the attitude, it's the motivation. And I remember I was 21 years of age, and at that point I had a huge amount of life experience beforehand. A lot of things happened in my life through football, life in general. So I felt a lot more mature at that age. And then I thought to myself, if I'm going into this, I'm going to go all in and give my all. And I'm so glad I did that at a later point, years later, because my close friends, when they left high school, was straight into uni and did that. So I had a 5-year gap. And at first I was like, oh, am I behind? But in fact, now I'm further ahead in a sense of where I want to be in my life. It's different. Everyone's got different journeys, but it was perfect for me. So I spent 3 years there from, I think it was HND, and then I did the BA degree course, which was part of West of Scotland course. And then from that, but I absolutely loved it. And I think what I loved about graphic design as well in that course was it led me across so many different tangibles of what design could be. Whether it was illustration, branding, packaging, web design, and it made me stuff that I liked and stuff that I didn't like, which was great. And then when I graduated, I came across independent designers specialised in typography. Now, typography played a big part of my life in my design career. And to give you insight to that, going way back when I was younger, when I used to watch football, I used to look at the back of shirts and I used to look at the names. But what I looked at was the shapes and the forms of the type.
Yeah.
And I used to go, what is that? Who creates that? Now, I was younger, I had no idea what typography was. But I remember on that first day I went in a college course, and the lecturer's like, oh, so, you know, like the type on the back of shirts, that's called typography. And I was like, what?
That's what it means.
It's like, that's what I want to do.
Right.
And I remember from that first day that internally I says, I'm going to do everything in my power to go down that road. And I learned so much about it. So after 3 years of studying, I then moved to London, because I thought to myself, I had to go to the bright lights of London to learn from the best. If I want to become one of the best, I want to go down there, which isn't necessarily the case, by the way, in hindsight. And I remember I must have applied. It wasn't just London, though. I was trying to go further afield when I graduated. And I remember I must have applied, honestly, I applied for about 50 positions and got 0. And I remember, if you look at where I'm at now, and people go, how could I have imagined that? Like, it was persistence. And I really believe in what I'm doing. And then an agency in London took a chance on me. And then I moved to London from there. And then from there, I worked for 2 agencies for 2.5 years, learning about design.
Yep.
In the background, all I wanted to do at that point was do typography and running my own studio. So every evening and every weekend while I was in London, I was practicing my craft. I was doing doodles and doing things on skateboards and painting on walls and stuff like that. But this is in my own environment, just practicing over and over again. So when 2.5 years came, I decided that I'm going to go out on my own and start my own studio as a independent designer specialising in typography. And I'm somehow, by hook or crook, managed to do it for another 6 years.
Wow.
And then in that time frame, again, at that point, I didn't have all the access to what we have now. Like LinkedIn, I didn't really use LinkedIn back then. I didn't have the access of how to run a business and all those things. So I learned a lot by failing. And failing hard as well. And then I realised that London wasn't for me, and I quickly came home and realised that all my family and friends were here, which was the best support base for me to start my business. So I did that for 6 years, and I basically got to the pinnacle of what I wanted to do, the typography. And then 5 years ago, I transitioned to a visual artist. And that's why I'm doing all these crazy things now.
I just find it amazing because, like, I've got 3 stepsons who are football mad, and so one of them's 4, so he's maybe not quite thinking about his future career or anything like that, but 8-year-old, 13-year-old, that's they want to be footballers. And I think it's so amazing that there's this overarching theme of football to art to careers and all the different things that come from that. And actually you tried the football and it wasn't the thing. And but you've still somehow, when you're talking about the typography and all the, like, I think, how many football strips am I buying? And like, you end up all the type and all what's on the back and whose names are on them, and to be part of that. And then obviously you've worked with the Premier League, so it's like, that's pretty cool. So the funny thing about it is, see all the places that I dreamed about. Premier League, UEFA Champions League final, the FIFA World Cup. I dreamed about doing that as a footballer, right? But the reality is there's a very, very, very small percentage of people in the world who get to play in that level, and they need to be exceptionally good. And honestly, I was nowhere near that, right? I knew that deep within. But my art was. My art has took me to those places. We went to the Qatar World Cup in 2022, and I got to meet all the legends of the game, right? And I was creating my own art, which I created from my wee 2-bedroom flat in Greenock, right, which where it all began, and I took it to the world stage, and I was doing it in front of my heroes, Roberto Carlos and Cafu. So anyone who is like can remember that, I know the younger generation might not know who they are, but they're basically the best fullbacks ever in this game. But I created a Brazil football in front of a 2-man audience, and it was day 2, and I was blown away because I idolised those guys coming up, but they were idolised by me because I was creating this art. So in a funny way, that the places where I dreamed about going, my art took me there, and it's continuing to take me there, and it's taking me to these wonderful places I can only dream about. And it all started back then. But the passion of football has always played a part, but it's not only that, it's leading in different ways and stuff. But that's why I'm like,
everything's happened for a reason. Do you know what I mean? The highs, the lows, but it's a journey that we take that takes us to these places.
But it's great, and I know we talk about the football, and you mentioned there, but why I find it more interesting is you mentioned that when people have got what feels like golden handcuffs, a contract, a professional contract like that. I know a few boys who are playing currently in the professional game, and maybe they're hitting a point of like progression stumping, and they're not sure, but very difficult to give up what is a standard, an income, and a guaranteed, contract. For you to give that up, knowing, not knowing even, by the way, not even knowing where you were going, that's the thing that I find more impressive. Obviously art you've stumbled across, and again, and the passion for it, but it's great for them that's listening to go like it's okay to not stick if you're unhappy, because you could end up, the age you are now, having done football as a full career and starting again now, but feeling like, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? So you're 10 years ahead of where you would have been if you were maybe stuck in that position.
Fear holds a lot of people back in life because you have the fear of unknown. But for my philosophy and what I've gone by more is feel the fear and do it anyway. I've lived my whole life by that. I've taken some massive risks on paper that you should technically not do, because I don't know where the stable money's coming in. I don't know where the next client is, and I don't know the next project or how I'm going to put food on the table. There is moments like that. However, internally, trusting my gut, believing in the process, believing where I want to go and the dreams and aspirations. With that takes, getting emotional saying it, but it takes a huge amount of guts and bravery to do it. And it's okay to not know what it's going to take, but you need to be brave enough to take that first step.
Definitely.
And that's the thing that I get it all the time. Like sometimes like, oh, it's amazing to see what you've achieved, but you've not, look at the road I've took. If you look at every pivotal moment in my career where I've transitioned from footballer, designer to artist, it's been a cut and then a fully focused, because I go all in. And that's another thing that I think's different mindset for me. Is I'm a big believer in mindset and manifestation and positivity, and that's been key to my life. So whenever I've made these moves, I'm like, I'm going to make this work no matter what. And have.
Good.
And mindset is the most powerful thing in the world, because somewhere or another you can make it work. And it's things like a client coming in or some money coming in the door, whatever it would be, one thing leads to another, but mindset's the biggest powerful thing. And that's something that it's not something that you're like born with. And this is another thing for the viewers, like it's something that you can train yourself in. And I've certainly trained myself in, and there's loads of stuff that is online and resources about it. For me, I was something I built internally, and I was like, right, if I want to be over here and go for this dream, like how do I make the backward steps from there? And it says, well, I need to stop playing football to go do this. I'm going, right, okay, but that's scary. I'm going, well, feel the fear and do it anyway. And then when you do it and go, oh, look at this amazing journey I'm on. And then I get to the point when design and typography, I'm like, well, I've accomplished everything in that field that I wanted to do, every dream project. But there's something over here that the artist, which I've always wanted to be since a kid, now I'm going to go on over here. Now, there's an interesting part when I made that transition to the visual artist. I remember reaching out to 3 business coaches. And I was saying, right, I'm very proficient and well thought of in the type world. And I'm working with biggest brands in the world doing the type stuff, which was great, making good money and stuff like that. But it wasn't fulfilling me anymore. Right? I've accomplished everything. And I want to go over here as a visual artist because this is all I've wanted to do. No one in the world knows I'm doing this. I have no idea what I want to do. And they were like, right, okay, the best thing, this is 3 separate conversations. The best thing you do is like do a bit of design and then do your art on the side and stuff like that, right? And I was like, right, I get the meaning behind it, and I get the safety of it. But I'm like, if I want to go all in over here and become the best I can be, I need to jump all in and forget about over here, which is the type stuff. So I need to cut it at my peak.
Of course.
Which people were shocked at.
So
for 6 months, I went quiet. And I transitioned to the artist. So I think I need to explain the story of how acrylic fusion and the art all came about. So to this moment, I decided to share the world. I'm going to become a visual artist. 2 years prior to that, my wife walks home, comes into the house one day, and she's got these gym leggings on, which is crazy pattern on them. And I look at them, and they resemble what I do today as acrylic fusion. But I'm blown away by looking at her legs going, how does someone create the pattern on those legs? On those pattern on the legs, on the gym leggings? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, your gym leggings, they're awesome. And she's like, well, thank you. But then I quickly go into YouTube, right? And I type in paint mixing, paint pouring, right? And you watch one video, you know, you got a wormhole and go,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, this is amazing. This is brilliant, whatever this is. And I've never seen anything like it before. And I was like getting so excited. I was like, Ali, I need to go to the art store. So there's a local art craft store. And I went and I remember getting a wee small canvas and little kind of acrylic paints, pouring medium and stuff. And I thought, right, I'm going to try this. So I went back to the apartment that we had at the time, in the spare bedroom, which was my studio. And I remember getting a little iPhone over my shoulder, and I was like, right, I'm going to try this art, this paint pouring thing. And I started pouring this paint, and I absolutely loved it because one, it was quick, and the way that you can get results is fascinating, but it's constantly problem solving. You need to think 3 steps ahead of yourself. The way that you slightly move things with gravity, and the more paint I use in, the physicality of it, it was like, it was ticking so many boxes and senses for me at the one time. I was like, and I remember making this little small canvas, and I thought, this is the thing that's going to change my life. And I remember getting into Ali and saying, this is it. Because I've been, so to that moment, I've always been dreaming about becoming an artist, right? But I didn't know what my thing was. I didn't know the thing that made me like internally go, yes, whatever that was. And I was trying things, but nothing stuck. This was the moment. And I thought, right, I'm going to practice in the background and perfecting whatever this thing was. And then so for 2 years, while I was doing type every evening and every weekend. Now you see a philosophy, the same routine here. In the background practicing when no one was watching. I was practicing acrylic fusion. So acrylic fusion is essentially acrylic paints mixed together to create interesting and mesmerising effects on basically anything I can pour it on, right? So and that technique started to develop as I was going. So I was looking at tutorials, but then I was like, okay, so what if I started using my breath and pouring that and then going, oh, that looks cool. What if I start moving it this way? Oh, that's cool. What if I do that? Oh, it doesn't look cool. Right?
Trial and error.
It was trial and error. So I was building that for 2 years. And then what happened was my daughter was born, right? Wee Olivia, who's the best thing ever. So that spare bedroom became her bedroom. So I was getting kicked out. So I had to find a space to work. So this is a point where, do I find an office studio and can I do design, or do I find a studio where I can go and finally paint and go for it? And I remember this all happened in one day, and I remember I was walking, and it was a friend of mine who I bumped into just walking past, and I was like, how's things? He's like, oh, I've took over this big massive workshop and I'm thinking about bringing artists in. I'm like, is this like destiny or something? Like, this is crazy. So next day I'm up and he's like, come see the studio, and it's in Greenock. And the funny thing is, it's actually 30 seconds away from where I grew up. My mum's still there. And I've walked past that a million times. And it's been multiple different businesses. But I've never thought I would ever become my studio. And I remember putting up the shutter and you see the River Clyde. It was a beautiful, crisp winter's day. So the hills across the water. And it was freezing, mind you. I needed insulated. But I was like, this is it. This is where I'm going to change everything and become an artist. And I remember it was a white walls, white everything, white table. And I was like, right, what do I do next? Because one, I didn't have any clients. I didn't have any money in the door. So at that time, my wife Ali was on maternity. So I managed from my type days, bank up enough money so she could have a maternity leave. And I had a little pot to keep me going for a while. But essentially, like, I needed to think how I'm going to get money in the door. So then I started to think about self-initiated work. So this is very important for the audiences. Self-initiated work, which is basically work that you can create yourself and show to the world, can basically come back in ways of commercial work. So football, it's been a big part of this conversation, right? So one day I thought, this is in January 2022, I think it was, because the Euros. Oh, I can't remember exactly. Scotland qualified for Euro 2020, which was actually played 2 years later because of COVID. And I was wondering, I was like, how cool would it be if I applied acrylic fusion paint onto a football using the brand colours of Scotland and seeing what happens next? So I remember buying a football, going to it was the first thing I ever did in that studio, and I created this ball, and I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. This is the thing that's going to change.
First time.
It worked first time.
You,
I think it was the mesmerising effect. It was the pouring. It was how the paint wrapped around the ball. I had no idea this was all going to happen. Gravity taking hold, but the way the colours merged, I was like, I'm on it here. This is it. So this was at the tail end of COVID, I think. And I remember phoning Ali, and she was pushing Olivia on the pram. I was like, come to the studio right now. You need to be here. You need to see this. Pouring rain, and she's pouring up. I felt terrible at the time, right? She comes into the studio, and I'm like, I purposely never told her what I've created.
Yep.
I wanted to see her reaction. And so she walked in, her jaw dropped, and she's like, Craig, that's incredible. And I was like, isn't it? Like, I really knew. I knew it was. And I thought, right. And then my entrepreneurial business brain came in. And I thought to myself, how do I just take this one concept but make it more than what it can be into a campaign?
Right.
So then I started to think about, is art complementing brands? Because the business model for normal artists who graduate from art school, wherever they go, is they create a series of bodies of work, hopefully get it in a gallery, then maybe 10, 15 years down the line, then do brand collaborations where you can make more money and stuff like that. It's sustainable, which you can make it sustainable through galleries, of course you can. But I felt like flipping the model and going straight for the brands, because I knew that from my design world and what they need and what they can help them with. So I purposely created this campaign over 6 months prior to the tournament kicking off, and I think I made 7 footballs of teams participating in the country. So it was like a Spain, France ball, Germany ball, all those kind of things. But what I was doing was creating a huge amount of content. So I brought in a videographer and photographer and sworn them to secrecy, like, do not tell anybody about this kind of thing. And what I was doing was basically showing behind the curtains of how I create these footballs. Because if you looked at them, they look like they're digitally printed or 3D, but they were actually hand painted. And I was showing the process behind it all, but also getting a huge amount of content. So in terms of like strategically putting it out when France were playing, I'll drop a France ball and all those kind of things. And at this point, we invested. So I made 7 footballs, right? But the reality was there was about 50 footballs. So when you paint on one football, you don't get to like just go, like erase it and start again. You've got one shot. So I was paying like, so let's say £15 a ball. All adds up, right? The amount of money was racking up. So it got to the point we put ourselves. I remember, 2 months into that project, and this is where I'm talking about big risks in on paper and all those kind of things. And this is another pivotal moment. 2 months into that project, I had this vision of how I wanted to go, right? And we had this, me and Ali had this small savings pot left. Now, I don't have a mummy and daddy to financially support me and back me up in any kind of way. Like, this is all I've got, right? And I remember saying, like, the vision that I have for this, I need to use all the money that we have together to bring this to life. I was so focused. I knew what I needed to do, the highest level I could possibly go. Now, on paper, do not do it, because we've got bills to pay, we've got a little girl, we've got all those kind of things, right? But she turned around and said to me, if anyone can do this, Craig, it's you, and I totally believe in you. And that set a fire in me. So we went right down to the wire, right? We used all of our money to bring this to life. I mean, it costs a lot for a videographer and all those kind of things, right? And I remember it was the week before the tournament kicked off, and I launched this compilation video, and I had no doubt in my mind for 6 months until the last 10 seconds before I was about to press going, is this going to work? And then, but then I reprogrammed my mind very quickly going, this is going to work. And I went, boom. So that video, and I announced, again, no one in the world knew I was a visual artist, and this is my announcement to the world. That video went kind of viral. And my whole life changed after that moment. And we had, at that moment, £73 in our bank account with no clients lined up, nothing coming in the door. Ali was on maternity, so it's not as if there was money coming in the door.
Of course.
But I deeply believed, and she believed in me, that this is going to work. And it did. And my first client, I think it was 4 days later, UEFA got in touch. And then they're like, can you come to London do a TV promo? And I was like, yep. And within a year, it went from...
Did you say yes, or did you go, this isn't UEFA. This is my mate. Dad. Stop winding me up.
I checked legitimately. It was on LinkedIn. There was the final UEFA stuff, so I made sure I double checked that because my mates could have done me that. It was UEFA and it was Premier League. Within a year, it was FIFA, and then we went to World Cup. So
incredible.
It's an incredible journey. I don't recommend it,
of course,
but there's a huge amount of moments in that people can take away. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's got a different story and everything they can take, but if I didn't take those risks, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, 100%.
And I think that really comes back to what you were saying about mindset. If you go into something thinking it's not going to work, it's not going to work. If you had doubted yourself and went, well, I can't spend all this money on a videographer and a photographer, then how would you have got your art out there?
Exactly.
How would anyone have seen it? Because that's what showed.
Yeah.
That's the platform that puts you out there, that allows you to get these amazing opportunities, and obviously the determination and everything as well. And I think that's something that when we're speaking to people in school about their future careers, and especially thinking about creative careers, there's so much about perseverance and believing in yourself, and also having someone who believes in you. So you had your wife there who's going, I'm all in, I believe in you. Like, that's amazing. Not everyone has that. So if you've got that, then, use that to fuel you. That's amazing.
No, a huge credit to Ali, because she supported me no matter what. You know what? See, whether it was art or it's something totally different, if I was a plumber, she'd be like all in. She supported me, and I'm very lucky to have her. But before her, like, I had to be my own cheerleader. And I think that's important as well. Like, I think we're in a world where you were always looking for external gratification and people to go, you well done. Sometimes you need to go, you know what, I'm well done. And I do that myself, and I still need to do it this day. I need to reinforce it every single day. Every morning I have a gratitude sayings that I say to myself, and like, I am worthy, I am grateful for all these things, because it's so important to be your own champion. Because see, when you start doing that, you start to realise that, like, anything is possible in this world. Do you know what I mean? Like, I keep saying I'm just a wee boy for like Greenock, right? And I'm still there. But I'm purposely flying that flag to show that I can work with the biggest brands in the world. I don't have to be in London or New York and stuff like that. And that's the important thing. Like, I previously, when I first graduated, I thought that's where you need to go. But you don't. The world is changed now, but you can make an impact. And don't get me wrong, I get to travel the world, which is great. But I love home. I love being here.
So then, mate, honestly, it's an amazing story. I think it's. I think this one in particular, because it feels very like a lot of people might have been in your situation, particularly. You had moments of making big decisions that can define a career potentially or a life. So it's really interesting, and I want to touch on the success now, which is really important. I think obviously the point to like that moment, which I think would be the end of the film if it was a film, you're pinging your phone, LinkedIn, UEFA, and you're like smiling at the camera, thumbs up, happy days. But obviously that's not where it stopped, and you've moved to work with obviously really large brands. So can we talk just briefly about that as well? So who else have you worked with, and what kind of, obviously I know it's been acrylic fusion you've been doing, but how have you been doing it? Because it started with a ball with UEFA. What's it transitioned into?
So so from that point it was sport became a big. I ended up just following my passions, to be honest. I was like, let's try on a basketball. I was like, that looks well, that looks good. And then quickly after that, it was the NBA, and then the NFL seen me doing the NBA project. I'm like, can you do this to American football? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, but also, I've never tried it. This is another thing. Like, it's like sometimes you say yes, and then you figure it out later. And I tend to do that quite a lot. But then the beauty about acrylic fusion is so versatile. So it can apply in so many different ways and different surfaces as well. But not only is it like hand painted, it could be printed. It can be across fabric, which we're now currently working on just now. It can be large scale murals. It could be like it's so versatile and dynamic that keeps me excited and keeps me on my toes. So with that, you get a different challenges every single day. There's never been a project. All projects are totally different, and the best thing about that is it's opened up so many doors as well. And I'm constantly pushing my technique. Like, I'm still finessing. It's been 5 years since I've been doing this, and I'm still there. I just finessed something the other day, and I was like, yes! I was like, it took me 5 years to get to this point. It's crazy. But people are thinking, oh, he's got it down to a T. You've got to. I'm constantly in pursuit of greatness. You'll never achieve it, but you always come to it. But what it has led me to, and I'm probably going to speak on, is the Disney collaboration, right? So, where do I begin? Disney, it's been a dream since day one. So, I have this vision board at home. Now, my wife and now my daughter has one, right? So, it's basically brands that I would dream of collaborating with, or projects I'd love to collaborate. And since day one, since I started, was Disney. Right, and I have no idea what I was going to do or what it was going to be, but I was always there. So I looked at it every single morning, brushing my teeth, and then I started to visualise myself going, how cool would it be to do like Mickey Mouse or the Disney sculpture in acrylic fusion? And I believe that you say these things out into the universe and it comes back in weird and mysterious ways. So earlier this year, we got an email from an agency that works on behalf of Disney that I actually knew just through LinkedIn and connections and stuff. And it says in the subject line was, "Is this Disney calling?" ? And then as soon as I got the email, I didn't get to open it up because my wife phoned me. She's like, "Have you seen this email?" And I'm like, "I'm about to open it." She's like, "This Disney." And we lost the plot, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So Disney, this is the most amazing thing about this, right? This agency reached out to me saying, "Would you like to collaborate with Disney?" And I'm like, "Of course I will." They're like, "Great," because Disney already want to work with you. So Disney were in the background, knowing who I was, knowing the word, and told the agency to contact me.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. I'm like, where's Disney even found me? Like, I'm like, how's this even happen? But it shows you the beauty of social media and putting your work out there and putting stuff out into the universe. So then it quickly transpired that the brief was that Disney were going to Cannes International Festival of Creativity in Cannes in France, and they were taking over this hotel, activation at Beat Resort, all those kind of things. And Disney's the biggest of them all, right? But they wanted to collaborate with an artist who would use their style on the Disney products and bringing it to life. And they wanted me to do it, which was incredible. So the first call was like, "We've got all these things happening. What can you do?" And I was like, right. So I just went off in one, right? Because I'm on this call and I wasn't expecting it, because usually this is the beauty about being an artist now. It's like these brands trust me with their assets and what their product, and basically like, what do you want to do with it and what can you do? So I was just going, we could do this. But the Disney D sculpture was one of them. And the theme was around the sea and water and stuff like that. Now, this is probably the coolest part of the whole story, is the night before I was watching Moana with my daughter, right?
Love it.
So one of the parts of this collaboration was doing Disney were hosting an event at a beach resort, which had sand. At the main part, and I thought, oh, how cool would I just said that out loud, right? There's, if you can imagine, right, I'm on a Zoom call, Ali's beside me, so all these Disney people and the agency people, right, and I've just rambling on like a mad Scotsman. And I was like, oh, how cool would it be if you got like a Moana sand sculpture, right? And then you got Moana to hold this pearl. And I just started painting the pearl live, because you know how she holds the pearl in the film? Like, how cool would that be if we done it in front of a live audience? And Disney were like, that sounds pretty amazing. I think we can make that happen. I'm like, can we?
You're like, I was just
I'm like,
here.
I'm like, right, okay. And then it just kind of snowballed, and then we got this amazing sand sculpture guy from France who made Moana, and then he made the pearl, and I started painting it live, and I was just like, and if it wasn't for me just randomly coming up with ideas in my head and just saying it out loud, because I think sometimes that I know from experience speaking to other people that other creatives, and this is the beauty about having my wife Ali on the call, right? Because she remembers everything. Whereas if someone tells me like, oh, can you do something for Disney? On that call, I'm already like, I'm there mentally creating, and they're asking me questions. I'm like, excuse me, what? And then Ali has to chime in and help that. But I was creating it in my head, so yeah, we brought it to life, and then we created these amazing like little, we called it acrylic fusion stones, and we made 300 of them, which was a lot of work in a short space of time in the studio. But me and Ali did it, but we made this. So we made a sculpture, the big Disney D logo. So you need to go online. Whoever's watching this, listen and go onto my website, you'll see it. The Disney D sculpture, the live art performance in the stones. And the most beautiful thing about it is if you watch the video of the creation of the sculpture, the Disney D. So my daughter Olivia, like, we take everywhere we go, right? So probably another part of this conversation is the lifestyle and business that we've created. Olivia's been part of everything that we've done, and it's been very conscious of that, because we want to make her aware of this amazing world that we can create, and what you can create yourself through hard work and determination, but the beauty of what the creative industries can do. So as I'm creating all this stuff, we just finished the sculpture, and I had my camera crew there, and it was actually made in my home studio. So Olivia comes to open the door, and she's not seen it at this point, and she walks through, and her face goes, she's like, Daddy, look what you've made. This is Disney. And they captured it on video, and it was so genuine and so authentic. Like, even I started crying, like I've mentioned how many times I'm emotional I am, right? And we captured it all, and it was just like the poignant moment to this, right? And I was like, I can't believe I've just done this Disney in my house in Greenock. Do you know what I mean? In Greenock, of all places, is crazy. And we put this video, and it was broadcasted in the Cannes Festival. And I remember we were there, and we wrapped up the project. And I remember me and Ali were just sitting there. We actually had a cocktail at the time, a Disney cocktail actually, with a coconut. It was amazing by Disney. But the Disney executives and came over to me and Ali, says, listen, see that video that you made with your daughter? Like, that embodies everything about Disney. The spirit, you nailed it. We are so extremely happy with what you've created for us. Like, we're so proud of it, and I hope you're proud too. And I'm like, I'm proud. So to show what to accomplish that, and to do that, and to bring my family in the way was just mind blowing.
It's like, for us, obviously, we could be here all day talking. I think because you've got such a, individual projects clearly have so many different thought processes that have to happen, and it's what I've noticed. I think what listeners will definitely get from this is like how important it is to not just take risks, but be really passionate about what you do, and be really invested fully in it, and be willing to take the odd, obviously, to risk in a calculated manner, to hopefully get the kind of success that you're looking for. And I think why this could be one of the best we've done is because of the industry you're tackling. That the kind of creative industries, particularly in the UK, is starting to kind of maybe not be front and centre anymore as it once was. And I think, you pushing that, your story and your journey is like amazing. So valuable.
And I think as well, even people like who aren't interested in a creative career, but they have a creative passion, being able to keep that, even if it is alongside something else, even if they come back to it later in life and come to it, but even just knowing that no matter what you do, if you can find a passion in it, like, it's going to be so much more rewarding, isn't it? And like your family being a part of it, because I'll speak to people about like, what are the people at home, what are they doing? And we'll often have conversations about, do they like what they do? And actually they'll sit and they'll go, oh, I don't know. Or they'll say, oh yeah, my mum loves her job, but my dad, he hates his, or this, that and the next thing. And you're going, well, what do you want from the future? Well, I don't want to do what my mum does. And I goes, that doesn't matter. Do you want to love it as much as your mum loves it? Do you want to feel that? And that's something that your daughter and your other future child that's coming can have that. And they can go in and they can say, my dad, my mum, they love their job. And that's fantastic. So you can inspire people everywhere, but you can also inspire people within your closer circle. That's amazing. You've
hit the nail on the head, because my daughter's already saying she wants to become a professional artist like her daddy, right? So I'm absolutely delighted with that, right? But see if she grows up and wants to do something totally different, that's totally fine. We just want to give her the tools and show what's possible. And I think that's really, really important. My mum did the same for me growing up as well. But the knock-on effect has been really amazing to see. My brother, even my friends and family, who've gone on to say, you know what, like, if Craig's doing this, then I can find out my thing as well. And you see it. And you see how people hold themselves accountable now and do different things that they, you know what, like, this is something that I actually love to do. I'm going to go and explore it. So you don't, I didn't realise, my plan was never to make this massive impact and inspire. It became important as the time went on, that almost like a flag bearer to say, like, you know what, look where I've came from and look where I'm at now, and look where I'm going to go. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got massive dreams and like aspirations where I want to go, but I'm always rooted to where I am, and I think that's really, really important. And just something to add to, like, when you're talking about the creative industries, especially in the UK, like, I have a very international mindset.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't limit myself to just Scotland
Aye.
or just the UK. I'm like, how can my art impact someone in the furthest point in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that helped me from the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
And when you start to realise that, the world becomes a lot smaller because you can actually see
Yeah.
the possibilities there. And I think that it's really important to say that out loud, because I even get vastly experienced business owners come to me going like, how did you do it? I'm like, well, have you looked here? Have you looked further afield? No. And I'm like, well, it's a starting point.
It's a good point.
It's a very good point. So I think having that has led to amazing opportunities as well. And see, the thing is, everyone across the world loves Scottish people, right?
We're quite lucky.
I'm not gonna see the accent. It gets as far, so like milk it as much as you can.
No, great. It's great. It's a great advice as well, I think, because you can't listen. People will be successful in their homeland, but I think not being afraid to take risks and look further afield if the opportunities take you there, which is what it's about. But honestly, like from us, thank you so much for like coming and chatting and telling your story. And I don't have you on LinkedIn now, and I feel bad.
I know, I do. I've got on LinkedIn.
Now I'm going to be very nosy. And like, do you know, the whole way through this conversation, what I thought was, your name's Craig Black. You are actually named after a colour. What? Like, you were meant to just work with paint, right? Like, it's like, you talk about these wee moments of the people you met at the right time and stuff like that, and it's like, your story's been mapped, I think. I'm telling you. But no, honestly, thank you so much. And obviously you're on social, so is it just your name on social?
So on Instagram it's @_Craig Black. TikTok, it's the same, @_Craig Black. LinkedIn, Craig Black, you'll find me. But my website's craig.black. Usually if you just type me into Google, I should be the top one up there.
It's not bad, isn't it?
That's pretty good.
I know.
My daughter was searching me on the internet the other day. She's like, if you're really specific and you put your full name, careers advisor, this, you come up. And I'm like, cool, thanks.
Yeah. But now you can say, just type in the Career Stories podcast.
Exactly. And you'll find it.
And we will be coming, So, listen, thank you very much again. I really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
So that's us with another episode
I know, that's it. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see everyone next time.